Hello everyone, today I will show you how to make TF2 mods, including how to make them casual compatible. This is going to be a remake of a video made by Boy that some have found a bit confusing, including myself. In this video I will take an example of a weapon that I want to replace the Scout's pistol with. This tutorial should work with any model replacement that you would want, although for player models it can be a little complicated. I will only show you how to replace models without any lightning effects or normal maps. This tutorial should be helpful if you're not too familiar with Blender. For this tutorial you will need your custom model, Blender, Blender source tools, I will link how to install that in the description, GCFscape, VTFEdit, Crowbar, and WinRAR. First, you'll need to decompile the in-game model that you want to replace. In this case, it's the Scout's pistol. The reason we do this is because we cannot work on the compiled model. To do that, we need to go to the TF2 folder, then the TF folder, then open TF2 misc.dir with GCFscape. This is where all the in-game models reside. Then we'll need to find our model. There's a link in the description to this page which lists each model with its name. Here Scout's pistol's name is C_pistol. In GCFscape, click the search icon and type the name of your model. Find the corresponding .mdl file to your model name. Once you do, right-click it and click on Go to Directory. Weapon models usually are located in models/weapons/C_models, as you can see here, but some are in the Workshop folder. Once you're in the folder in GCFscape, select all files, then drag them onto a folder in your desktop, or whatever you want. Open the folder you made and make a new folder called Decompile, just to not get lost. You can name this anything you want. Now open Crowbar and go to the Decompile section. For MDL input, click on Browse, then the .mdl file from the folder you made. And output 2, click on Browse, then select the Decompile folder. Click Decompile. We have now successfully decompiled Scout's pistol model. You will find .smd files in the decompile folder now. Those are the models that we can work on. The one you need usually contains reference in the name. Enter the decompile folder. If there's any LODs, delete them. Open the .qc file. Remove anything mentioning LODs as I did here. Now open your custom model in Blender. For me, it's the Polar Star from Cave Story. Make sure your model is only one mesh. This is the technique that I use. Note the texture's name as it will be important for later. You can have many textures. Here I only used one. Now click on File, Import, Source Engine, and then select the .smd file that contains reference in the name. Note that in the right, both the model and the skeleton are present. The model is self-explanatory, but the skeleton determines the position of the model. You will now have two models in Blender, your custom model and the game's model. I assume you already know what object mode and edit mode are, but if you don't, you just have to look at the top left corner to know which mode you are in, and you can switch back and forth between edit mode and object mode using tab. This is very important. Now you will need to make both models overlap as good as you can. You can move your model in object mode by selecting a model by clicking on it, then pressing G, then either X, Y, or Z depending on which axis you want to move the object in. Then moving your mouse. Then you can use rotating by selecting the model, then pressing R, and then either X, Y, Z depending on which axis you want to rotate. Here I'm taking in consideration Scout's hand placement, so it might look a little bit off. After you've aligned both models, in object mode on the right, hold Ctrl, then select your model and the original model skeleton, then press Ctrl P and select Armature Deform. Now this is the tricky part, so be careful. In object mode, select the TF2 model on the right, then go to the data section that looks like a triangle. You'll find vertex groups there. Switch to edit mode using tab, then click on each vertex group, then deselect to avoid any errors. Click on the first vertex group, then click Select. Memorize the name of the vertex group. Switch to object mode using Tab, then click on your custom model. Then in the Data section, still in object mode, create a vertex group with the same name as the one in the original model. Switch to edit mode, then click Assign. Deselect the vertex group you just worked with, then repeat the operation on all vertex groups as I am doing here. After you've done that, you can now delete the original model. Then move your custom model to the original models folder/collection, as those are called in Blender. Click on the Scene menu, then Source Engine Export. Select SMD as an export format. Click on the folder icon next to Export Path, then select the Decompile folder from before. Then click Export. We have now successfully finished the modeling part. Now go to the Decompile folder and open your .qc file in Notepad. The .qc file is a configuration file for compiling the model. What interests us here is the CD materials, as this will hold the path for the texture for your custom model to be loaded. If you already know how to do this and want to know how to make your mod casual compatible, skip to this timestamp. If you have never made a mod work on TF2 before, it's highly recommended that you do not skip this part. You can close your .qc file for now. Create a folder in your custom TF2 folder with any name you want. This will be the folder we'll use for the mod. Create a folder called Materials in the folder you just created. Then follow the CD materials names and create folders accordingly, as I am doing here. After you've done that, open Crowbar, then select Compile. Select your .qc file as input. Then select your newly made folder in Custom as your output. Click Compile. We have now successfully compiled our custom model. Now we'll need to put the textures in their correct place. TF2 doesn't use PNG or JPEG as image formats for textures, but it uses the .vtf format for the texture's image and the .vmt format for configuring the texture. First, open VTFEdit. Click on File, then Import, and then import the texture that you used on your custom model. Press OK. Click on File, then Save As, and now go to your custom folder, enter your mod folder that you created earlier, enter the materials folder, then enter all those folders. Set the texture's name to be the same name that you used for the texture in Blender. It's case sensitive. Then, in VTFEdit, click on Tools, Create VMT File. Click on Options, click on Shader and select Vertex Lit Generic. This is essential for the texture to appear, or else it will be invisible. Click Create. The VMT file should have the same name as the VTF file. We have now successfully set up the texture and the model. We can launch TF2 and test it to see if it works. And there we have it. Please take in consideration that the mod that you just made won't work on casual. If you want to see how to do that, I will show you in the next part. A mod is casual compatible when it functions using the modern casual preloader. I will put a link in the description where you can download it. To make a mod casual compatible, in our case, we will just need to change the texture path. Open your .qc file and change the CD materials path to vgy/replay/thumbnails, then the rest of the path. Enter your mod folder in custom. Create those new directories and move the textures accordingly. Don't forget to edit the VMT file to specify the new path, or else the texture will not appear. Then compile the model using Crowbar. And there you have it. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you have any questions, please leave a comment.